this is like my American brain, apparently. I'm like, but how does capitalism fit into it? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hate Spinnerbait, the podcast where we hate spinnerbait, but we love Debbie Reynolds.
Yes. Oh my God. I love Debbie Reynolds so much. Truly.
So much. She's iconic.
Ooh. Truly an absolute legend. Yes. I read that apparently on the set of this movie, she introduced herself as Princess Leia's mom, and that's adorable. I love her so much.
I love her so much. Oh,
Legend.
Amazing. Oh, I'm Michael Ann. I'm a little out of it. I don't know if you can tell. I'm back again with Bethany. Bethany, how are you?
Back again. Trying not to dive too much into existential dread, and I have to say that watching this movie really helps.
It did.
I'm stressed out about the election, but it's fine. Like, it's fine. We're gonna be fine. I watched a TikTok earlier, and this man who's like really smart, way smarter than me, was like, "I think the momentum is good. I think we're gonna be okay." And I was like, "Oh, I hope you're right." Yeah, I've got the sleepies. I've got a little bit of like I kept singing Summertime Sadness all day today, even though it's fall. So I kept being like, I got the summertime sadness, except it's fall, except it's the fall sadness. No one wanted to hear me sing today, but those are the vibes. If I'm being real honest, the vibes are bleh. But I was very excited to watch Halloweentown, and I was excited to discuss it with you, and also just wish everyone a happy Halloween. And I hope that you had a beautiful spooky season, and I hope that the rest of the burrs, which is always my favorite time of the year, the burrs, September through December, treat you well. So yeah, that's what I got going on.
I love it. Look at this little guy.
Oh my God, he is a whole vibe. He is a whole mood.
If you're not watching us on the YouTube, you're missing out on something very cute.
He's so cute.
I bought him at a market we went to in Columbia a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I love him.
I love it.
Like a cute little crocheted candy corn, but it's not doing it justice. You should come watch us on YouTube and you'd see how cute he is, because he's really, truly adorable. I'm also very excited for November 1st. When it's half off candy. That's when I really come alive.
Yes.
If you are an adult who doesn't have any trick-or-treaters in your neighborhood, you just wait until after Halloween and you go get that sweet, sweet discount. That's my pro tip for all of you.
I definitely did a weird childless millennial thing at work today. Like, I thought I was being normal, but like looking back, like nobody responded to me. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, so this woman was
just me.
talking about how her and her husband and her daughter are all dressing up as minions per her daughter's request, which is warms my heart. I was like, that's so fucking cute. That's love. And so she was like, what are y'all doing? And I was like, oh, I'm a childless millennial dog lady, so I'm not doing anything. And I didn't order a costume because I have ADHD. And then everybody else responded with like, me and my kids are dressing up like this, and me and my kids. And I'm like, this is probably for the parent. This is probably a question for parents.
And you're like, oh, I just wanted to jump in. Can I say I have never in my life been to a Halloween party, and it's truly a thing I'm sad about. And
really?
Everyone's like, why don't you just throw one? I'm like, well, first of all, I don't want that many people over at my house. Cause like, I want to go to one where I get to decide when I get to leave. Like, I don't want to no. Cause then you can't, it's weird to kick people out of your house, but I would love to go on. And like everyone I know in my life has been to a Halloween party. And I'm like, how have I never attended one? So it's on my list. I'm looking, not this year, it's too late, but like next year, I would like to definitely do that. A lot of my problem too is that like a lot of time Florida Georgia game falls around Halloween, or when people are celebrating Halloween. Like obviously not like most adults don't celebrate Halloween on actual Halloween, because again they're doing a party, so they do it on a weekend, and it would always be like that time, and I'd be like, sorry, I'm like out of town for something else. So yeah, it just kind of by happenstance happen that way sometimes. But I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there. Like people are always going to Halloween parties, and I'm like, I want to be in like one that I can go to. I would love to be invited. I want to do a costume. It'd be
I
fun.
know. The last one I went to was in Albany, and I was I don't remember her name, but the like his wife in You that he ends up murdering.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Our dear friend Katie, who we went to Sweden with. I don't know if y'all heard. I don't know if that's ever come up on the pod. But anyhow, I was on the phone with her the other day, speaking of people that get invited to Halloween parties and go to them. She had a costume party to attend, of which they would be giving out a prize at the end, which is not an uncommon thing to happen at, again, like adult Halloween parties. And so I was talking to her and she's like, oh yeah, I have to go like return a tiara because I'm going to be Glinda from Wicked. And I was like, oh, super cute. I like that. That's great. And she's like, yeah, that's my lazy option because I had another option where she was going to change every 20 minutes at this party into different Taylor Swift eras.
Oh my God, that's so
Which
funny.
would have been so good, but she decided to be lazy because she was like, listen, I'm going to put all that time and effort and change for 20 minutes, and then someone dressed as a banana is going to win this thing, and I'm going to be annoyed. So if I don't put in effort, I won't be annoyed. Also, I saw her picture of her, and if that's putting no effort in, I would have liked to have seen it. I was like, okay, no effort, my ass. I was like, we have different definitions of no effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also backed into her neighbor's car and robbed the party. So it was fine. It was barely a scratch. It was her neighbor's teenage son, apparently. And she was texting me about it. And I was like, oh no, like, I hope they're not mad. And she's like, oh yeah, like it wasn't a big deal. I think I'm going to like bake them cookies. And she goes, direct quote was, what did he say? 'Twas merely a flesh wound. And I was like, first of all, I love this kid. I think he's great.
Perfect. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. He sounds like a great guy. So anyways, those are my random Halloween thoughts, I guess. But yeah, everyone go get that candy November 1st and just stress eat it on election day. Also like that British people call it fancy dress, and I would like to call it that. Thank you.
It's like swimming costume.
Yeah, fancy dress party. Because again, to me, fancy means like fancy. But to them, I also like to say, this is related but not related, but I want everyone to know that me and my coworkers have collectively decided, and mind you, this Christmas party is happening in broad daylight, but our work Christmas party this year is happening at this like very like schwanky looking cute little like building, very like, cutesy little like historic looking building. And for years now we have well, not years, I have only obviously been there for going on 2 years, but anyhow, since I have been there, even before I've been there, one of my coworkers has been upset about certain coworkers never getting a prom. So she's like, one day we should all just like go get dressed up or something. So when we saw this location, we were like, we are hosting prom. And so we like talked to our bosses about it, and we're like, hey, like you don't have to dress up if you don't want to, but like would you be weirded out if we all like showed up in prom attire? And they were like, as long as it's like appropriate, like as long as you're not like dressing like hoochie mamas, like you do you. They didn't say hoochie mama because they're white men. So that's not in their vernacular, but you know what I mean. And so anywho, so we're all like, okay, yeah, awesome, let's go. And so now we're all like getting prom dates, and we're like gonna get each other corsages, and we're like really doing this. And I'm honestly really excited.
Cute. That's very along for the ride of you.
Yes, I know. And I was like, it feels very long for the ride. It reminded me a little bit of like back in my Grey's Anatomy days when they had like the weird hospital prom thing. I don't even know like why they did that, but it was just like some weird gala thing they were having. And I was like, I love when people just like have adult prom, and I love that like people who have never got to experience prom are going to. But yeah, it is very along for the ride coded. So I'm so down. The person who I picked as my prom date also never had a prom, so I was like, I'm buying you a corsage. Let me know what your outfit is. We're doing this.
Oh my gosh.
Really be prom, of course, because unfortunately, no little John will be able to be bumped through the speakers. But that's what the after party is for, so it's fine. And we're going to take cutesy / awkward prom photos in front of this really cutesy building.
I love it.
I love it. Late ladies. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that. So I don't have a Halloween party to attend, but I do have a Christmas party, a work Christmas party that all of us have just collectively decided to turn into prom.
And, I love that. Wasn't the Grey's Anatomy prom episode the one where she kills her boyfriend by accident?
It's where Denny dies. That is correct. That is the episode. And there she is like in her like pink prom dress, and she's like Katherine Heigl, like ugly crying it, winning all the awards, deservedly so, and then was labeled a hard to work with diva bitch the next year because she was a woman who like spoke up. I don't know. Never understood
Sounds
that.
about right.
Yeah. So, she was obviously very difficult. Very difficult.
Very challenging.
Yeah.
At the
But if like,
workplace.
Leo DiCaprio or somebody was like, or like Marlon Brando would have been like, I would like a meteor role. People would have been like, he was the real auteur. He was the real actor.
He just understood. It's like fucking James Leto who like method acts and everyone's like, well, actually, I don't know if anyone thinks he's normal. He's kind of fucking weird, honestly.
Thankfully, no one thinks he's normal. Daniel Day-Lewis has got away with it for his entire career and then very dramatically retired. And now is like coming out of retirement and is going to be a weirdo method actor again and like probably win another Oscar for it. And I would like to never work with a method actor. Well, I don't act, so that'll never happen to me.
Well, there you
if
go.
I did, I would be like, nah, I don't want any of this. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I was checking. I'm making sure Willow wasn't making any noises.
Oh, that could be a perfect segue. Were you hearing? Was somebody coming? Somebody's coming.
Somebody's coming.
Halloweentown. Can I just say this music in this movie, like the score in this movie, is an absolute bob. Like 10 out of 10. I started rewatching this movie today, and I was like, "Who have composed this? This is fantastic."
I agree. The music slapped. Costuming slapped.
Yes.
I mean,
1998. Halloweentown. We have discussed before, this is maybe one of their worst posters, which also makes it the best poster. Like whoever graphic designed this, it kind of looks a little bit like our background though. So slay.
Oh, it does.
And we have similar colors. I respect that. But yes, whoever designed this, choices were made, but also thank you for making those choices because this might be my favorite DCOM poster, I think, of all time because it is so good. But yes, 1998 DCOM, directed by Dwayne Dunham. What else have you done? Oh my god, first of all, this man, what a legend. Look at that. Look at that guy.
Wow, look at that guy.
Look at that guy. He did. Wait. Let's see. What did you do, sir? He actually did work on some Star Wars in a capacity.
Okay.
He has done some work in editing. It looks like most of his directing is DCOMs. He did some such other classics as The 13th Year, Double Teamed, Right on Track, Tiger Cruise, Now You See It, and he did also direct some Clone Wars episodes, of which I now need to look up because I need to know which ones he directed and are they some of my favorites. No, it was not a really good one. Okay, so he doesn't get any credit for that, but yes, so that's our boy. He, like I said, he looks like he's been working in film for years, some editing, mostly editing, but has directed some things. So thanks, dude. You're a legend. And of course, we have our wonderful cast, which we have already stated. The absolutely fantastic Debbie Reynolds, of course, is in it. And we have our girl, Kimberly J. Brown, who I literally learned live on Hate Spinner Bait that she married the guy from Halloweentown too. Mike Land broke that news to me, and that was a truly iconic moment. And then I never know how to pronounce the mom's name. I've only ever read it. Judith Haug? I don't know. But anyways, she is also in it, and the other people. But we're not going to go through the whole cast. We're just going to call them by their characters' names because that's how we all know them. But yes, so this is about our girl, as a lot of DCOMs are. Like, it's always like on the 13th year that they discover things about themselves. They're a merman, they're a witch, they're whatever. It's always that like you're hitting puberty, being a typical kind of coming of age thing. Can I just say that Halloweentown, I think, is actually very good. It's a very like good feminist movie.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it. I think this is a very, like, I was like, okay, Halloweentown, I see you. Some of these movies that we watch, I think pretty much all of these movies that we've watched so far, we're like, wow, certain things really don't hold up. I'm gonna go ahead and say I think Halloweentown slaps. I think it holds up. Like, obviously there's some funny graphics and whatever, but I think the story is good. I like nothing is like cringy about it. Like nothing about it is too like 90s, you know, like it's I don't know. I think it holds up and I think it's very feminist and I love that for Halloweentown.
I agree. I think this movie stands the test of time. There's nothing where you, as you said, where you go like, ooh, yikes.
Yeah.
Um, everything was delightful. I mean, Debbie Reynolds. Has she ever done a flop?
No.
You know?
All hits, all bops, no skips, swear to God.
Yeah.
That is what an absolute legend.
An absolute legend. As is Carrie Fisher. As is Billy Lord.
Yes. All legends, really. Like what a family of just absolute badass bitches. Truly.
Truly.
Love them and miss two of them greatly.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, rest in peace. But yeah, so this movie starts off. It is Halloween. Mom, we have like a little bit of like a Destin-esque mother-daughter relationship here. Mom, of course, just doesn't understand. And our girl Marnie wants to go out and like do some things with her friends. Our girl Sophie is waiting at the window and she just keeps saying, like, somebody's coming. And then, of course, dude bro Dylan, bless him. He doesn't get his family. He thinks that his sisters are weird. He you know, he's the practical one, the smart kid, the one who's like going to explain everything away with logic. So he's kind of like doubting that, you know, he's like, of course on Halloween, somebody's coming. Like that's the whole thing. Everyone's coming up to our door, blah, blah, blah. And yes, but our girl Sophie is right. And that is where enter the one, the only Debbie Reynolds, and a very like Mary Poppins-esque way, which I love that like Disney like kind of nodded to itself, which is fantastic. Also, apparently she was up for the role of Mary Poppins and obviously inevitably lost out to another legend of our time, Julie Andrews. So I like that Disney was kind of like, okay, we're going to give you that role in a sense. We're going to give you a little nod to that. And she comes in and Mom is like stressed AF basically because, which also like this outfit that Marnie is wearing, like Marnie's very into the bright colors, but this like see-through like lime green shirt that she was wearing in the beginning, I remember being very iconic at the time. And honestly, watching it, you know, for the recording of this episode, I was like, yes, I am so weirdly into this like lime green sheer shirt that she is wearing.
I love that.
Yes.
I also love that in Disney Channel original movies, kids can say literally whatever they want to their parents.
Yeah.
Whatever
100%. And it's just like, fine.
I would have gotten grounded. My ass would have gotten sent to my room.
Marnie does talk back to her mom like a lot in this movie.
She
and
does.
I'm like, wow, Marnie, I'm gonna need you to watch your tone a little bit here, girlfriend. I understand
like,
that this is unjust, but I don't know. Like, I think your mom's being like fairly reasonable in some of her requests, but maybe that's just me. And you did like sneak away to Halloweentown, so you know, just saying. But
another dimension.
Yeah, a whole ass other dimension. But yeah, Grandma comes into town. She's all like, our girl Marnie is a witch and she's 13. I mean, you haven't worked on her training at all. What's the dealio? And Mom's like, hi, I've been hiding my children's powers. Could you not? And she's okay. Also, one thing, just one little thing, the book. It is clearly like a children's illustrated book. And so she goes out there to tell them the story of Halloweentown. And of course, Dylan is all like being a doubter. And she's like, I read it in a book. Why this book right here? Which, of course, she like conjured up via magic. And they're all looking at it like this is like a factual novel. And I was like, it's an illustrated kids book. Like, it's just like, and they're like, Marnie, what do you do? And like, all of a sudden she's like, it's got all the things I'm interested in, Grandma. And I'm like, yes, because she conjured it up with magic, Marnie. Like, it's an illustrated kids book. And she's acting like here's a picture of a werewolf cutting hair. And she's acting like she's going to get some good werewolf intel out of it. And I was like, it's a picture book, Marnie. Like that scene, I was like, yeah, like if she would have like put out a book that like it was like, you know, and like a textbook or something, and then I could see the kids being like, oh my god, Halloweentown is real. But an illustrated picture book, I was like, I don't understand how this is what convinces them. But anyways, so she's up there doing her thing. One of my favorite favorite scenes ever in this movie for some reason, and it's stuck with me forever, is when Debbie Reynolds, I like that I'm just gonna call her Debbie Reynolds, and Agatha, whatever her name is, Crobwell, grandma, goes downstairs and she's talking to the mom, and the mom's like frantically putting chicken in it. Like, I'm like, why is she like putting it in a bowl? I don't know what she's. I'm like, who's ever packed chicken like that? And how much chicken did you like? It was supposed to be like you and your 3 kids. Like, how much chicken did you think they're gonna eat? So she's packing up her leftovers, and she's like, it's better back on the bone. And then the chicken goes, and the mom's like, like, I'm so startled by it. And I know I rewound that scene like 3 times because I have just always loved it. It's just ridiculous, and I love it. So that's fantastic. And then, of course, as always happens in a movie, they have a very loud conversation in the kitchen about the secret. And I'm like, yeah, you can't just say that around. Our girl Marnie hears, and of course she's like, I'm gonna sneak out after and follow grandma and see what the situation is. And yeah, that's when she does like a little, interdimension travel. And of course, Sophie is like, I'm gonna go, sneaks in, and Dylan comes to basically like be a naysayer, basically be a stand-in for the patriarchy. Thanks, Dylan. And they all end up in Halloweentown. Halloweentown is awesome, and I think overall, like, anytime they're doing like a practical effect, I think it actually like, and sometimes it's just like obviously people, it's not the background extras, they're just like people in masks, if they don't need them to talk or anything. But like Benny the cab driver, like the little animatronic that they have for that, I think is fantastic. Like so many of the Willow.
Oh, also
Slay. I'm wearing Sophie shorts right now.
Oh my god!
Yeah, blast from the past. Throwback. I was having a conversation with my mom and my sisters about them. Weirdly enough, because I guess like I don't know, they're kind of coming back or something. Or someone like I saw a video of like this mom thrifting with her daughters, and they were like they didn't even know how to pronounce it. And she's like, oh my God, if y'all only knew. And then it was like, do you roll it once? Do you roll it twice? Whatever. So we're having this whole conversation. And then our backdoor neighbor from back home, like always like does a little like cleanup like twice a year. And like, we'll give it to my mom to be like, oh, if you want anything or if the girls want anything. And then whatever we don't take like ends up being donated to Goodwill or whatever. And so anywho, I'm going through and I'm like, oh, this is a nice sweater. Oh, this is it, whatever. And then she had 2 pairs of Sophie shorts. And I was like, we were just talking about it. And I took one. And you know what?
I love it.
It's as comfortable as I remember. It's so good. So yes, that's what I'm wearing right now. True story.
Sophie shorts.
Sophie shorts.
God, those were the best.
The days. So many cheerleading practices wearing these bad boys. Let me tell you. So yes,
love it.
I love Sophie short. Yeah. So we get to Halloweentown. All the stuff, like I said, like I just love the aesthetic of everything. And I think like the set design and all the like little characters and the world building that they do is really fantastic. They meet our boy Benny, who drives them to Grandma's house. Wait, they meet the mayor before they go to Grandma's house, right? Yes. So they meet the mayor. This is important, obviously. They meet the mayor. He does this whole like lollipop thing, mabob, and they're like, we're here trying to find our grandma. And he's like, oh yes, the Cromwell house is right that way. And then that's when Benny comes and takes them there. And then of course we get like a little we're making the talisman and things have been going wrong in Halloweentown. And so of course if mom can't come and help things out, then Marnie is now like, I will be the hero of this film. And so she's all like, what do we do? Like, I also just think there's like a lot of good jokes in this. Like, I like that she's like, what do you do? An incantation, you this, whatever. And she's like, we're just gonna fill it up. It is so good.
It's so good.
So that is fantastic. I also like when they're trying to like get into the house. And Sophie's just like, I pushed it. Like, I just thought about wanting to turn the lock into a frog. And then I pushed it. And I do love, again, like how like this whole like witches is, kind of like women and girlhood. And again, obviously we all know like the Salem witch trial is just one of those things that like everyone has heard of in the States. You learn at some point in history.
Yes.
And of course all these people that they were burning as witches were just like women and whatnot. And I love that, like, it kind of tells the story of like when you're little and you're a girl and you're not like worried about like anything, you know, and that it just comes naturally to you. Like, it comes naturally to Sophie. We learned that Marnie used to have these abilities, but now they've kind of been stifled as she grows up and stuff. And I just think that that's like a really cool, like, metaphor kind of for like being a girl and growing up and like what that means and stuff. I don't know if in this Disney Channel original movie that's what they were going for, but I'm interpreting like that, and I think that it's cool.
I like that.
I just say.
I
So
second
that's
that.
my interpretation. And so, yes, we learn about the talisman. We learn that there's like some stuff, some darkness that's been creeping into Halloweentown, and what is going on. And again, and how this is the most, once we get to like the villain reveal later and like the villain's like methods, now that the door is open, I can really hear, it's like music playing.
Oh, so sorry. I put calming music on for Willow so she doesn't bark at our neighbors. But
yes. But anywho, so I forgot in the beginning of the movie, one of my other favorite quotes is the "being normal is vastly overrated" line.
yes,
That's a good one. That is like very much, I think every millennial woman has probably put that up as their like aim going away message or
MySpace
bio something.
Yeah.
Once used on social media by every millennial woman. I am 100% certain of it. No one can tell me otherwise.
100%.
Yes. But yeah, so who comes and shows up? Fuddy Duddy Mom. Just kidding. Mom has every right to be mad in this situation because her children all, again, can't dress it up, interdimensional traveled, like ran away from home and interdimensional traveled, and she shows up and Marnie's all like, but Mom, you just don't understand. And I'm like, Marnie, I don't think you understand. Like, this is what you did is crazy.
Yes. Like you super ran away. You didn't just kind of run away.
Yeah.
You didn't go to your neighbor's house.
Right.
You went to another dimension.
A whole other dimension. And of course, Debbie Reynolds is like, now, the children, whatever. And I'm like, listen, Debbie Reynolds, I love you, but Mom is kind of right here. Okay. Like, this was a little bit of a no-no. We learn that our girl Debbie Reynolds, of course, because she cares about Halloweentown and loves it very much and is just a lovely, awesome lady, has been trying to get the mayor's attention about the going-ons, about people acting strange, and then just like straight up disappearing. She's like, what's the sitch? And he's all like, oh, yes. Why, Debbie Reynolds, that is very suspect. We will have to look into that. But this is probably dangerous, and I don't want you to look into it. And this is also when Mom shows up that we learn that her and Mayor, good old Caliber there, had a little fling, had a little love before Mom was like, nah, I'm gonna go leave you for a mortal man. And if this man is not the most Snape-coded person, I don't know who is.
Yes, 100%.
Also, though, technically, can we say that Halloweentown did it first? Because back in 1998, we didn't have that knowledge in Harry Potter because that comes in later novels. So,
true.
Really, the transphobe may have stolen it from Halloweentown. Who's to say? But yeah, this guy is like real upset and like real jelly because Mom and him used to be a thing. And then, of course, she ends up going and falling in love with a mortal man and living in like the mortal realm and all that jazz, and wants her children to have nothing to do with Halloweentown. And he's not for it. He's very, very much not for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yes. Any thoughts? Any notes?
First note is I wish that we found out a little bit more about why her mom is so anti like Halloweentown. Like, why were you going to let your daughter's powers just disappear without her knowledge at all? Like,
right.
What happened to you?
Yes.
How are you? It seems like a delightful place.
Yeah, it seems like a really delightful place. And I get it, girly. We have all been in toxic relationships, and you got to set boundaries after those. And old Cal, it seems like, it seems like things ended poorly. It seems like he was a bit of a dick. But why would you then like take magic away from your family?
I know.
that
It's
that
so
part I
strange.
don't entirely understand. I don't understand why she's so like straight laced and stuff. And
Yeah.
also like, did dad know? Like, did her husband know that she was a witch? Like, how much of this did she hide? Is it kind of one of those situations where, like, the parents are like really hippy dippy and then their kids end up being like really straight laced because, like, there was no boundaries? So maybe because, like, we kind of get from grandma that she's like, yes, witches and Halloween and all of that is great. And yeah, did mom just like turn on that lifestyle? I don't know. I agree. It would be nice to know more about that. But details.
Another question I have is if Debbie Reynolds is 200 years old, how
Yes.
old is their mother?
Right. Yes. Like, how does aging work for everyone in this family? Because she's
Right.
200. How old is mom? And then does that mean that all of the kids, because right now they're all aging normally, it's just like, oh yeah, they're 13, they're 13, they're 8, they're whatever. But when does that start slowing down?
Right.
So
Well,
need to
there's a
know.
few holes in the logic here, Disney Channel.
We got a few plot holes. Hi, we have questions. How does the aging work in Halloweentown? Mr. Disney, if you don't mind. Oh my
Mr.
god, I
Disney.
listened to this podcast the other day, which of course it's like something I already know, but it's also just always like interesting to like deep dive on. I listened to a podcast the other day about Celebration, like Celebration Florida.
Yeah.
And I was like, it really was very Stepford Wives, y'all. Like, it was very weird back when it like first opened. It's like gotten less weird now that like obviously Disney has had less involvement with it. But the whole concept of it and their whole like school concept and just like the whole thing, it's honestly kind of crazy. But yes, Mr. Disney. Couple questions.
My sister-in-law was like, isn't it true that, or she was like, is it true that like the villages are full of swingers? And I was like, yeah, probably. And then my mom was like, also, I think it was my mom. She's like, also that place in Orlando that Disney owns, Celebration, they're all swingers too.
All
And I
bunch
was
of
like,
swingers.
I
That
haven't heard
I have
that.
not heard. I have heard about the villages being swingers, but which I feel like obviously I can't say all of them, but I feel like that is definitely the rumors are abound enough that I feel like there's some truth to it. I have not heard about the swingers in Celebration, but I
No.
could see people like making that because people love anytime something weird happens in Celebration because like you know what I mean? It's like one of those things they're like, it was too idyllic. It was too weird. People that would want to live there are weird. Disney adults are weird. So we, of course, had to, like, anytime you can find that something's like warped about it, people like love putting that in the news. And the truth is just like warped things happen in every town in America. Like, it just is more interesting when it was like a Disney built town.
Mm-hmm.
But and I get it. I'm with them. Like part of it is like interesting, like, ooh, that's interesting. But um but yeah, just weird things happen everywhere, to be perfectly honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Also there's a book coming out by one of my favorite like Disney content creators about Disney adults, but like obviously in a positive light because she is one, and I'm gonna have to buy that for sure. So I'm
Love
excited to
that.
read it. So yes. So anywho's Mr. Disney, back to your movie.
Yes. Yes. I would definitely misremembered this movie as well because I was definitely thinking about Halloweentown 2, Calabar's Revenge, when they all
Mm,
turned gray. So I like kept waiting for everybody to turn gray, and then they never did.
right.
And I was like, this is a different movie, I think. But where were we in the story?
Where were we? Mom, we find out that they had a fling. They had
Oh, right.
something in the past.
Yeah, really weird
And
to
really
like
weird.
be like that. Like see your high school boyfriend and girlfriend and be like, Hey,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
a rose. Like, it's like, aren't you like 40?
Yeah. Like, move on, my dude, you know? And then, yeah, so grandma's all like, oh, what's the sitch? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna look into that. We go and get a broom, which is a great scene.
Mm-hmm. Love
I
that.
love the brooms in Halloweentown. I think I just like the way they did that. I think it's cute.
I like the
And
guy who sells the brooms.
yes, I like the broom salesman is like definitely like supposed to be kind of like the car salesman of like Halloweentown, and I think he's fantastic. Also, like just great like practical effects, like great prosthetic makeup. Like I think he's great. I love him. So by the broom, this is the scene, y'all, where I was like, this movie is literally just about how like women are witches, like the why we were burned because so she's explaining magic to Marnie up in the air, and she's like, magic's really quite simple. Like all you have to do is think about what you want and go for it. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's essentially the line. And it's like, oh yeah, and like when a woman does that, she's a witch, and we burn her at the stake. But really, it's just like a normal thing to do. And that's when I was like, wait, is Halloween a feminist movie? Was this babies for feminism? And I just didn't even know it as I watched it as a wee child in 1998. But I love that. And I love that that's kind of the thing of the movie. And like, you know, women being stronger together and whatnot. So she's all like, cool. They take a little, you know, vroom vroom on the broom broom. And then yeah, and basically mom's all like, we got to get going back because I don't think we stated this, but the like Halloweentown, the portal is only open on Halloween. So people like can't come and go as they please. And grandma kind of explains like why they set it up because you know they used to live in the mortal world, but of course they were outcasts, and so they made a place where they could like thrive. But you know, obviously on Halloween they can go and visit and no one would suspect them. So that's why the portal is open. So obviously, like we have like a limited amount of time to get the family back because if not, they'll be stuck there until next Halloween. Anywho, this is where we also meet Luke when the brooms, whatever, and he's like, he is a little 90s.
He's very 90s.
But he is fantastic. He's just like so like 90s, like a douchebag, his like outfits, the things he says. So then this is where we finally go to the movie theater, which of course is suspiciously closed. Which I'm like, how does any business close down in Halloweentown? Like, it's not like
And it's like closed permanently. And she's like,
yeah.
oh, I
Oh,
had
that's
no idea.
weird. Yeah, walking, she's like, everybody, we have the best movies here. And then it's like, literally, I was like, closed forever. Like, oh, golly gee willikers, I wasn't aware. And I'm like, I was like, how would you not know everything that's going on in this town? Like, again, like, how do people make money? Because, like, in the cab, they kind of make a joke, like, oh, do you take dollars and whatever? And, like, obviously people have jobs. Like, there's a hairdresser, there's a gym, there's a movie theater. But I'm like, but how? I mean, you know, anyways. This is like my American brain, apparently. I'm like, but how does capitalism fit into it?
Literally.
I hope they never exchange money. I hope they all just live their lives and are happy. Personally.
Mm-hmm. I hope so too. I hope that
Yeah.
there's just no money involved. Also, can we talk about how beautiful Grandma's house is?
Oh my God, yes. Fantastic.
And at the end of the movie, they decide she's going to move in with them.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'd move in with grandma.
Yeah.
She's a way cooler house.
Yeah. I'd be like, whoa, there, lady. First of all, I'm not going back to school. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second of all, we're staying here.
We're staying. I was like, oh, we're back in the mortal world. Boring. It's way cooler in Halloweentown. And grandma has a really dope house. But okay, buzzkill mom. So yeah, that I agree. I think I should have stayed in grandma's house personally. But apparently, so this original movie, at least, I can't speak on the sequels, but the original movie was filmed in like a little town in Oregon, and they actually like got to keep the like jack-o'-lantern Halloweentown pumpkin mabobber, and they do host a little like month-long thing every October, like little Halloweentown event, and I do love that. And I mean, Oregon's on the list. Obviously, I have to go to all 50 states one day. At least that's my goal. So maybe I'll go visit Halloween time and go see this cute little Halloweentown that they put on. I think that's cute. So, anyhow, so this is where we kind of finally see Calabar and get kind of, he's very like, if Oogie Boogie and the Emperor from Star Wars had a baby, that is his vibe. I feel like that is his aesthetic. And there he's in the movie theater, and we find out where all the disappeared people are, and they're very much alive, but they're frozen. And Luke is just like, which I like that Calabar just does tell him to shut up because he's like, 1 by 1. He's like, 2 by 2. It's so cringy. And he's like, will you shut up? And I was like, okay, thank you. They're acknowledging that it's cringy. Because I was like, is this supposed to be serious when he's like interjecting? Because it's weird. So Debbie Reynolds kind of gets filled in on the evil plan of what is going on. And always kind of trying to like break the veil between the mortal world and Halloweentown, and he wants to rule them all with evil and darkness. And honestly, the plan is a little vague, or maybe
it's
I just
very vague.
wasn't paying attention well enough. But I was like, what is the plan exactly?
Yes,
But
vague.
yes.
And there's like no explanation for like why he freezes people or like why they
What does
turn
that
evil
do?
first before they
Right.
get frozen. It's like, wait, Calabar, what's going on? Do you just have a concept of a plan? Is that what's happening?
It sounds like he has a concept of a plan and not a real plan. Because I'm like, I don't understand why they're frozen. Like that is truly confusing to me. And I don't feel like that was really explained. But maybe it was. And then, of course, mom and the kids all get involved. And basically, long story short, mom and Grams get frozen.
Yes.
They're there. They're frozen. And so, because we have to get the adults out of the plot somehow to, like, have the kids save the day because this is a Disney Channel original movie. And, like, this is how coming-of-age stories work, right? So, of course, kids are upset. They're like, oh my God, our grandma and our mom were just frozen in front of us, but this like Oogie Boogie Emperor hybrid dude. Oh God. And so Marnie is like, but I'm going to save the day because I'm your sister. Like, don't you worry. I literally don't know anything about my powers. I just learned that I was a witch 24 hours ago, but watch me go. And you know what?
Not even.
Yeah, 5 hours ago. This all takes place technically on Halloween night. Whatever. Well, she does have between time or whatever, but still. So anyhow, she's like, I'm gonna save the day. Don't you worry. So they just have to get like the rest of this witch's brew, which like I do enjoy this little montage. It's very like it's
very fun.
Like decom. You have to get the hair and the sweat and all of this, and they get the witch's brew together, and then they've got the Merlin's talisman, and of course Marnie is like, got it. I know what I got to do with this. It's the lines like mortal see, mortal do. Mortal see, mortal do. And she's like, jack-o'-lanterns on Halloween. We have to get it to the Halloweentown pumpkin. And I'm going to plop that bad boy in there and it's going to save the day. Again, this entire plan is very like Calabar's plan. Her like it's a little hazy, but we all just roll with it because everything else about the movie is a bop. And so you're like, okay, jaunty music, Halloween, sisterhood, power to the women, fuck the patriarchy. As a millennial woman, I'm vibing. Yes, let's go. So they get there, it's a little town square, and of course our boy shows up to like announce. I always got a monologue, right? As a villain, you gotta announce what the plan is, and then come with me, people of Halloweentown, booming. The effect, of course, of like the storm coming in bad. But again, anything that's like practical effects, good. That stuff, not so good. So he shows up. He does this little evil man speech. Our boy Luke is like, I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of those things to happen to your grandma or your mom. I was just trying to help him get the talisman, blah, blah, blah. And so he's like, please let me make it up for you. I'm going to cause a distraction so you can like do your thing. And she's like, all right. So he goes. And then, of course, this is where Calabar reveals that he is the mayor and blah, 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 all along. And everyone's like, oh, craziness. And then, hold on, Mike is texting me. See what he is saying. You're just letting me know who's on his way. Okay, cool. So anywho, so she, is trying to put it in the pumpkin, and he's like zapping her with his like little emperor powers, and she's like, but it falls in, and the spell is broken. Again, I don't understand why people are frozen. If anyone out there knows more about the Halloweentown lore than we do, please let us know. But I personally am confused by that.
Yes.
I just don't get it. But they were unfrozen. So mom and grandma, they come running over because they both wake up and they're just like, the children. Run out the movie theater. And then, Sir Calabar's kind of like, I'm doing all of this because I'm mad that you dumped me back in high school. And I'm like, bro, move on. Okay, buddy. What? Are you serious? Are you serious?
And also, it's like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah. I don't,
Like,
I'm
what?
like, so this whole evil plan is all to get, what? I don't.
It's like, what is happening in your brain, Calabar? I am not certain. What are you actually planning on doing? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't understand it. I just know that it's bad and we have to save it. And, do you think you're going to outwit me? And they're like, all of us can. And she's like, my sister and me and my mom and my grandma and my brother. And Dylan's like, I don't, it's the Aurora Borealis. I don't know what those sparks are, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, shut up, dude. Come just do the thing. And so they do, and they defeat him. And then, and then they agree to all like, oh, wait, it's going over. So we learn why at least we learn Luke's motivations. So he basically agreed to do it for, I think, a very like normal teenage thing. Like he wanted to look hot and score babes. And so our girl Marnie's like, oh, like, but what you did back there, like, I like you better like this. Oh, be true to yourself. All that kind of jazz. And she gives him a little kiss on the cheek, and he's all like, oh, thank you. And then, again, we have very limited time. And so we have to go back to Earth, back to the real world, on the little portal. So immediately, because all Hallows Eve is ending here very shortly. And so they all get on the little like San Francisco trolley to do that. And grandma gets invited back, and mom's like suddenly okay with them being witches. And she's like, when we get back, I'm going to finish your training. And I'm like, I'm not really sure what your journey was here. If anything, this should have proved like why being a witch isn't good, because like you got frozen, y'all almost like faced imminent death. But I guess because they saved the day and they came together as a family, she was like, actually, Marnie, it's cool. I'll teach you how to be a witch, which I'm happy about. And again, like I love the sisterhood of it. I love the girlhood of it. But Halloweentown, it holds up. But the evil plans of it is a little hazy.
It holds up in that it is like super nostalgic, and the set's really fun, and the costumes are really fun, and it's just like a warm hug. But is the story completed? No. There's nope. But I appreciate it. Also, I really appreciate when grandma gets frozen. She has enough time to make sure that she explains exactly to Marnie, don't worry, this is just a spell where we freeze. We'll be fine. We're just frozen, Marnie. Don't worry about it. It's like, wow, you could get a lot out before you got frozen. That's
before you got frozen. Yeah. I thought everyone else was pretty instantaneous, but she got to do a little monologue first. And I was there, and then it was like pointing. And I really respect that. I also respect that there are multiple of these movies, which that means that this can become a Halloween tradition on Hate Spinner Bait. Come back next Halloween for Halloweentown too.
Hell yeah.
Calabar's Revenge. And we'll get to see the little married couple.
Yes.
In action together, where they met. Not where they started dating, but where they met. And now they're cutely together. And that's just some real adorable stuff. But yes, some iconic lines. Debbie Reynolds is just always a delight. So it's just so nice to see her. Costuming is great. Set design is great. Again, I love the score in this movie. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's like one of those things as a kid, you're like, man, wouldn't it be so dope if this was like, if there really was like a Halloweentown, like how cool would that be? Also, it was just like fall year round, and like that is such a vibe. So I respect that.
I have a couple of notes.
Oh yes, hit me with them, please.
So first of all, in the beginning of the movie, mom is like, you can't go out on Halloween, and you can't have candy, and you can't celebrate even though all your friends are, and it doesn't make any sense to you, and I'm not going to explain it. And then this little Sophie is like, I'm just going to have a little cookie. And her mom's like, no, you can't have a cookie. It's like, bitch, let her have a cookie.
Right. Come on, one cookie? Really, Mom?
Come on, lady.
I'm on your side a lot in this movie, but in this instance, nah.
No, give her a cookie. Let her have the cookie. You're ruining her life. Just kidding. You're not ruining her life, but you're being very vague in your punishments.
You're ruining her life.
I also thought it was very disturbing that Calabar pulls a lollipop out of his ear. I feel like that should have been their first sign, if not all they needed to know he was the evil one. And then when the Bones guy, Benny, Benny Bones.
Yeah.
When he turns evil and he tries to pick them up and put them in his cab, they release a dog on him. So I'm really happy to see that there are dogs in Halloweentown. There are dog people, and there are
Yes.
also regular dogs.
As there should be. So yeah,
love that.
yes, I agree. I'm happy to know that the people of Halloweentown get the joy of dogs because everyone deserves that, I think.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
That was really all my notes.
I like those. Those are all very valid points.
Mm-hmm.
Let Sophie have a cookie. We are happy about dogs. Evil man trying to give you a lollipop. Run, children. It's literally like the thing you learn right away about stranger danger. Don't take candy from strangers. So,
especially if it's been in their
there
ear.
you go. Yeah. Nasty. No one wants your earwax, dude.
Mm-mm.
So yes, that was our little jaunt into Halloweentown. It was a good one. I enjoyed it. It definitely helped me get in the Halloween spirit, and I hope all of you have a very safe and happy Halloween. If anyone knows of any costume parties for next year, let me know. I know we're really planning far ahead, but let me know. I'm game. And
if you go downtown in your city, whatever your city is, to party on Halloween, be safe, get an Uber, get a Lyft, carry Narcan, because you never know, and
don't leave your drink unattended.
Don't leave your drink unattended. Don't even just like what my sister taught me was to put my hand like this over all of my drinks.
Yes.
So if you're watching the YouTube, I'm holding it from the top.
Little girly things,
just like how to stay safe. Like there's this clip of the woman Sorsha from, I don't remember her last name, from Little Women, and she's like on this panel with all these guys, and they're like, I never thought about it, but you could like use your phone to like attack somebody if they're attacking you. And all the guys are like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. And then they're like, but how would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And like Sorsha's just sitting there the whole time, like, and then when they're done talking, she's like, this is what women think about every day.
Yeah. I'm always thinking about, like, anytime I leave my house, like, okay, well, if this happens, this happens, what do I do to protect myself and get out of it? This is just being a girl.
We know how anything we have can be a weapon. Thank you.
As a weapon. What is it like to just go out into the world and not have to constantly think about that? Can't relate. But good for you.
Good for you.
Good for you. Yes. Have a very safe and happy Halloween. Vote if you haven't voted. We will be back on Election Day. For a fun, easy, breezy. Unfortunately, for a fun, easy, breezy episode. Nothing serious. We want to get fun. We want to be light. We know that everyone is going to be a big old ball of stress. I'll be watching election updates come in. And maybe putting on that little John clip every time a state goes blue. I don't know. We'll see about it. But to be determined, or I'm just going to drink myself into oblivion and pretend that none of this is happening. That's not a healthy choice. But no, find healthy coping mechanisms. I don't recommend that. And yeah, take care of yourselves now more than ever. And happy spooky season, y'all. Now it's November 1st tomorrow, which means that's Christmas.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.